There are certain things in life that are just simply indisputable. For instance, the Earth is not flat. Get over it. The unpredictable weather of the Philippines in the middle of July. We had these cars washed this morning, and you know naman what happens when you have cars washed, right? Death and taxes, unfortunately. Darth Vader never actually said, "Luke, I am your father." It's true. Look it up.
No, I am your father.
The same goes with the two automobiles that we have here today. This is the 2023 Nissan Terra, undisputed in ride comfort in the segment. From the time of its release in 2018 till today, no other ladder frame SUV rides as smoothly. That's just a fact. This is the next generation Ford Everest, currently equipped with the best tech thanks to the largest infotainment system available in this segment. You take one look, and yeah, that's fact too. These are two of the champions of these cars, and dare we say, two of the larger selling points for these vehicles. Well, we actually know this because we've got the data. But what about the rest of the car? How does it all stack up? How does it help in pulling each car over one another? You get me? On this Comparo, let's find out what else makes these cars great, which one we'd take home no matter how difficult the choice may be, and which one we feel deserves your hard-earned peso. I want to walk out, but it's wet. My shoes! While we may make it look easy, creating silly videos and on these perpetually long drives does take its toll on the body. Now, I'll admit, I'm no spring chicken, but we continue to push because we just absolutely love what we do. The OSIM You Love 3 has artificial intelligence biosensors developed by a doctor from Stanford. It analyzes your stress levels and provides the recommended programs based on your body tension. Not only is it brilliant, but because it's designed by the same legendary Pininfarina, responsible for sultry Ferraris and Maseratis, OSIM also garnered the prestigious 2023 Red Dot Design Award. That's basically the Oscars for design. And because they are so good and experts when it comes to ergonomic design, OSIM is the only brand in the world endorsed by the American Chiropractic Association. Have a crack at that. You can even control this from your phone. So you've got a massage on your neck, your shoulders, your back. You've got the V-Hand Plus and the 4-Hand Plus. So it feels like two people massaging you at the exact same time. And then the ottoman turns into a massager. And oh my God, that's the balls of my feet. Wow. With over 20 years experience in the Philippines, OSIM offers a comprehensive nationwide warranty. Jack, call the cops, man. Something this good has got to be illegal. It's rolling. My feet, do it! From the same segment and roughly the same dimensions, the Terra has more of a sporty and compact look to it. V-motion pattern on the front grille, lines can be found up front and at the rear. Auto-leveling quad LED headlamps, redesigned tail lamps, a new spoiler design with a shark's fin antenna up top, new design on the 18-inch alloys, which helps keep the SUV at 225 millimeters of ground clearance with disc brakes all around. And if chrome isn't your thing, well, yeah, there's also the sport version. Most definitely the boxier of the two, the Everest gives off a more elegant exterior. The sea lamps up front are mimicked at the rear, large side mirrors and broad panels all around highlight its size. An excellent flex are the 20-inch wheels, which keep the SUV at 223 millimeters of ground clearance, also with disc brakes all around. On exterior design alone, we'd say that both automobiles definitely have their merits. But for this, we're going to give the first point to the Everest because while sporty does age well, we'd argue that elegance ages a little bit better. I'd also like to add that when it comes to design and the way that it looks, it really is, well, sort of like the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Much like the call of a referee on a football pitch. It's very controversial. So we'd like to ask you guys, which do you think looks better to you? Let us know in the comments below. The Terra packs a 4-cylinder 2.5-liter turbo diesel that produces 187 horses and 450 newton-meters of torque, mated to a 7-speed automatic transmission, capable of 10 kilometers per liter in the city and 15 kilometers per liter on the highway. The Everest, on the other hand, is a 4-cylinder 2-liter bi-turbo diesel engine that produces 207 horses and 500 newton-meters of torque, mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. Efficiency will also get you about 10 kilometers per liter in the city and about 16 on the highway. Truth be told, I was actually leaning towards the Terra on this because, well, fuel efficiency is pretty much the same, and then there's less gears in the Terra, so you'd figure there'd be less rifling through. But the truth is, even in the 10-speed transmission of the Everest, you don't ever feel like you're fishing through any gears, whether you're stuck in traffic or at speed. Plus also, there's more torque. So for this one, we're gonna give yet another point to the Everest. If you're a subscriber to our channel, which I hope all of you are, you'll know that at some point we normally go on drives to tell you just exactly how the engine and transmission feel coupled with the car's ride comfort. But in this particular instance, we already said at the very beginning, hands down, the ride comfort is the Terra is really undisputed. Whether you're a driver or a passenger, whether you're going through traffic at speed or at twisties, even the ridiculous roads that we have on C5, you really don't feel like you're being thrown about. Like those people in the circus that are balancing on a pole with a plate. You'd feel like you're the plate. No, none of that. So my point is that we won't go into that because we already say that it's the champion hands down. However, if you would like to watch a review on these cars specifically, the links are definitely down below. The numbers will vary, but capacity will be the same in terms of boxes when the seats are folded. Both units have seats that fold flat to maximize the loading capacity. The execution of how the car converts is where it differs. In the Terra, to maximize your cargo space, you will obviously fold the third row, which you can manually and quite easily, I might add. But to be able to fold the second row, that's where the plus of this car is. Because it's not as if you need to get inside the automobile. All you gotta do is get into the driver's side, flip a couple of switches, and bada bing, bada boom. Now, granted, it does tumble the entire chair, but it's not as if it's that difficult to lay it flat. I did that with one hand. I could have done it with my pinky. It's because I go to the gym. Power! In the Everest, it's actually the complete opposite. While the second row you manually fold, the third row are power buttons. Now, as we've discussed, we figured that we would most likely use the power folding third row more often in the Everest than we would the tumbling function of the second row in the Terra. And plus, just as an added bonus, the lip on the Everest is flat, while as the Terra, there's about 2 or 3 inches that you need to contend with. Although we will say that the loading capacity, as we've shown you, is roughly similar. It's just now we're talking of convenience, and we feel as if that the Everest deserves this point. Third row of the Terra, as you can tell, is not very fantastic. Yes, you have bottle holders on either door, you have one charging point here, the port for your HDMI, and then 2 air vents. But the space is not great at all. Even though the second row is on rails, it's on rails, I'm gonna put this up, okay? So even if this space were to actually increase, it's the fact that my feet are just so close to my face that I could be smelling my own cachichas and I just pass out. I will say that inside the city, yes, no problem. Baguio, back here, I'ma kill the driver. Second row, on the other hand, much, much better. Much more comfortable, obviously. Legroom is fantastic. That's my driving position. Headroom is just okay. Center armrest comes down with 2 cup holders. It's nice because it's even with the armrest of the door, so you really feel like you have your own place. You've got air vents up on top, right beside your air controls, and then down below over here, you've got 2 air vents which you guys can share, and then charging points, and not just your normal Type A charging port, but there's also a Type C charging point. I like that. Now, I will say that the bolsterings inside this automobile are not very heavy, which isn't going to be an issue because then for, let's say, much taller and wider passengers and seniors as well, it's easy for them to get in and out of the automobile, thanks also largely to this grab handle right here. You have an oh shit bar, and then you have a oh thank you bar. When you get inside the automobile, like I said, no minimal bolsterings, which is actually okay because, well, we don't have to go there, but we already told you that this thing rides the best out of all of them, so it's not as if you're going to need bolsterings to keep you from swaying inside the car. You know what I mean?
Don't forget the screen.
Oh, the screen! That's right, I forgot to show you guys.
That's what the HDMI port
The
is for.
HDMI port, yes, this is for the screen of the HDMI port. So you plug it in there, and you watch it here. Something that you don't really find on other cars nowadays, but I guess in my case, if I were to ask my son to plug in something to keep himself and his sister entertained, might be a big plus. So up front, there is more bolstering, most definitely in the seats. The leather is, to me, just okay. It's good leather, but I feel as if that it could have been better leather. What is undeniable, however, are the comfort of these seats. Nothing to do with the suspension, because we're not going to go there, but the comfort level of these seats is redonkulous. Now, these seats are the same that you will find on a Navara, and those seats in a pickup truck are already comfortable. What more in an automobile such as this? Second is that we've actually tested and proven these seats about how comfortable they are, because we actually drove from, where is it again, Jack?
Puerto Princesa to El Nido.
Puerto Princesa to El Nido, which is about 350 kilometers. Jack and I were up front inside the Terra, and zero issues. You have power seats for the driver, not power for the passenger, no, just power for the driver, including lumbar support, which is nice when you want to change things up every once in a while on a long drive. There is a drawback, however. The steering wheel does move up and down, but it's not telescopic. And that might be an issue to some people that really want to get in the best and most comfortable driving position that there is. So there's that. The third row in the Everest, much better because the leg room, although probably the same, it's the angle that your legs are at, which are a little bit better and much more comfortable. Yes. Now, while that is more comfortable, I gotta say that the backrest, however, is a bit upright for me. In the Terra, you could lean it back a little bit, but because this thing's powered, you're limited to whatever it is the setting is back there. I can try to back it up some more, but I don't think anything else can happen. Where's the button? Oh, did it move back? Nope, that's it. That's basically it. That's as back as it will go. Convenience is back here. You have cup holders on either side. There's one here with a slit here, maybe big enough for an iPad. There's also one on the other side. And on this side, you also have a 12-volt socket. Up on top, if you see, there are air vents here, and the controllers are found for the second row passengers. Now, while the leg room is actually pretty good and even, actually, because these seats are on rails, what the Terra has is that its seats can actually tumble. These seats only fold. So there's that. In the third row, or rather the second row, sorry, space does continue. Like I mentioned, these things are on rails, so you can get as comfortable as possible. That is my normal driving position. Leg room is redonkulous. Headroom is actually okay, but in this case, there is a sunroof or a glass panel roof, which is very, very nice. I'm not gonna open it right now because it's all rain and mud and bird caca, nothing. Getting inside the automobile, much like the Terra, you have a lot of help. You have a step board here and a help me Obi-Wan handle that gets you up inside the car. Center armrest with 2 cup holders that pop out of nowhere. That's nice. The center armrest is nice because it's quite even again with the door, so it feels like you have your own space. I like that. Conveniences include the air vents found on either side. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, this is mine and that's the other side. You have your air controls here, not temperature controls, but air controls. You also have a Type-C charging port along with a Type-A, but an addition of a 230-volt outlet. Aha! So in that case, it seems like the Everest is kind of taking the step up. But I will say that the leather here and in the Terra is actually quite similar. Not the greatest of leathers, but since technically it is, I like this, my Obi-Wan handle. Since technically it is very much a family car, that means it's very, very easy to clean. A bit more support with the Help Me Obi-Wan handle for the driver, which more help is always going to be better. Comfort and space is relatively the same as the Terra, but the seats is where it differs. Where the Terra, it feels like there really is a lot more give. It's much softer. It's much more like a sofa and relaxing. Here, it's a bit more firm. Now, obviously, some people like firm, some people like soft. Jack, stop it. But in the manner that firmness is that it keeps you upright a little bit more. Where in the Terra, it feels like it's a very, very relaxed ride the whole time. That's not to say that these seats are not comfortable though, because there are bolsters that will keep you there when you want to get rowdy inside the automobile. And then there's the fact that, much like the Terra, this Everest also has power seats for the for the driver with lumbar support. But as an added plus, the passenger also has power seats. Ha-ha. And then there's the fact that the steering wheel does also go up and down, but it's telescopic, which is a very, very big help. Now, much like we won't go into the deep dive of how the Terra drives, we also won't go into a deep dive of the tech of the Everest, because those are obviously, like I mentioned earlier, the champions of these two vehicles. But if you'd like to know more about the technology and this beautiful screen inside the Everest, we have tons of videos and reviews of the Everest, which I'm sure that the links are found down below. Before we continue, I'd also like to ask you guys to please consider giving our channel a subscription and this video a like if you deem fit, because we create these videos just for you guys.
Please subscribe.
Jack, that's so, my God. Gain some bearing. No, but please subscribe. So when it comes to interior comfort, unfortunately, the Terra is starting to show its age. And it's kind of difficult to come up against with something that's just newly launched and called the next generation, because it's brand spanking new. You get what I'm saying? Look, plainly and in so little words that I've already rambled on way too long already, and I should have gotten to my point already by now, because Jack is already hitting himself behind the camera. In short, too late. But what I'm trying to say is that when it comes to interior comfort, the Everest does definitely take that point. However, we have now come to the part of the Comparo where, as editors, we have absolutely zero input on these vehicles. Its price. You ready? Here we go. The Everest comes in at 2,525,000 Philippine pesos. Bit of an ouch. Bit of an ouch because the Terra comes in at just 2,399,000 Philippine pesos. Even if you were to get the Sport, which is about 50,000, 60,000 Philippine pesos more expensive, it's still more affordable than the top of the line Everest. So in this particular topic, this particular segment, this particular category of the Comparo, we're going to give it black and white to the Terra. However, I will also add that because, like we mentioned, that it is starting to show its age and is due for basically a revamp sometime very soon, do head on over to our AutoDeal pages at AutoDeal.com.ph, where there are promos available on this particular model. You've got promos such as low monthly down payments and even cash discounts if you act quickly. By the means we compared these vehicles, on paper at least, the clear winner is the Everest. Yet I would argue that it's far from a landslide because when you add both components we pointed out at the start, which is the Terrace Ride and the Everest Tech, it's closer than a band of brothers after Normandy. But on this occasion, fair is fair. We're going to give the well-deserved win to the Everest. But for how long? Well, only the undisputed passage of time will tell. And when that happens, we'll definitely be there.